This is Romans chapter 12, verse 1. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of the Most High, that ye present yourself, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto the Most High, which is your reasonable service. All right, this is going to be, make sure you're offering up the right sacrifice. Call Allah Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem Kakodash, that belongs to the apostles and the great millstone. Now, on this path of this journey of this truth, we need to make sure that we are offering the right sacrifice unto the Most High, which, in order to offer up the right sacrifice, is to make our bodies a living sacrifice by being obedient unto His word and doing what He asked us to do. Let's see. This is Hebrews chapter 13, verse 15. It says, by Him, therefore, let us offer the sacrifice of praise to the Most High continually. That is the fruit of our lips, giving thanks to His name. And see, that's something that we really do need to work on a lot more, is giving thanksgiving and giving Him praise. Like, for instance, like when we might pray to make it to our destination safely. When we get there, thank Him. Wada Yahweh Bashem Yahushai for allowing me to make it to my destination safely. When you thank Him for the breath and which is in your body daily, for your health and strength. Even praise Him when you're going through hell, not just the good times. When He bring you to a lower state, continue to praise Him. That thanksgiving and that praise must constantly be in your mouths. This is Hebrews chapter 10. Let's see. We'll start at verse 22. It says, let us draw near with a true heart in full assurance of faith, having our hearts sprinkled from an evil conscience and our bodies washed in pure water. That's that sacrifice. When we sacrificing our bodies, we are literally being washed. We are washing our bodies within the blood of Yahushua to make us clean. Because His blood, His sacrifice is what's going to cover us. Verse 23. Let us hold fast the profession of our faith without wavering, for He is faithful that promised. And let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works, not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together, as the manner of some is, but exhorting one another, and so much the more as ye see the day approaching. Now check this out. For if we sin willfully after that we have received the knowledge of the truth, there remaineth no more sacrifice for sins. Because you see, the difference is, back in the day, back with that old covenant that we break, if you sinned, you had to sacrifice, a lamb or turtle dove or, anything like that. But because Yahushua is our sacrifice, because they used to just have them on deck. Like, it's basically like playing sin. You can plan out what you're going to do and be like, well, I got this turtle dove, I'm going to sacrifice, take care of that. But with Yahushua being our sacrifice, when He sacrificed Himself and His blood covered us and washed us and made us clean, we have to make our bodies a living sacrifice for Him to show our faith. But if we go off or we sin willfully after we've known the truth, because He's our sacrifice, there is no we can't just bring up another sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? can't just go and bring up another turtle dove or anything like that, because he already did the sacrifice once for himself and then for us, you know. So you can't go back once you already know, because we are because once we have come into knowledge of this truth, we become a new creature. And so what good is it if you're a new creature with the same old habits? You know, you're just gonna become dirty again. You're gonna become filthy. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 5 and 17. Therefore, if any man be in Hamashiach, he is a new creature. Old things are passed away. Behold, all things are become new. And like I said, if you're in Hamashiach or Yahushua, you are a new creature. That's why because he, with the old sacrifice, it just took away those particular sins, but you were still that same old creature who would go off. But with him, with Yahushua, we become a new creature through his sacrifice. And so thus when he wash us and make us clean, we shall be clean indeed, especially if you are the elect or the chosen, you're gonna be made clean no matter what, because it's gonna be in you to want to wash yourself within his blood. I mean, you're gonna want to offer up the right sacrifice. You're not gonna want to go off, and if you do, it's gonna grieve you, because you want to do what's right, but your spirit, or not Salaki, your flesh won't let you do what's right. You're in a constant battle between the flesh and the spirit, which is why you have to constantly feed the spirit in order to overcome the flesh. This is Revelation chapter 7, starting at verse 9. After this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude which no man could number, of all nations and kindreds and people and tongues, that stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and palms in their hands. Why were their robes white? Because they were clean. And how were they clean? Because they were washed in the blood of Yahushua. And cried with a loud voice, saying, Salvation to our power, which sitteth upon the throne, and unto the Lamb. And all the angels stood round about the throne, and about the elders, and the four beasts, and fell before the throne, and their faces, and worshipped the Most High, and saying, Amen. Blessing and glory and wisdom and thanksgiving and honor and power and might be unto our power forever and ever. Amen. And one of the elders answered, saying unto me, What are these which are arrayed in white robes, and whence came they? And I said unto him, Sir, thou knowest. And he said to me, These are they which came out of great tribulation, and have washed their robes, and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. There you go. They offered up their right sacrifice. They made their bodies a living sacrifice. That's how they washed their robes in the blood of the Lamb. Therefore are they before the throne of the Most High, and serve him day and night in his temple, and he that sitteth on the throne shall dwell among them. They shall hunger no more, neither thirst any more, neither shall the sun light on them, nor any heat. For the Lamb which is in the midst of the throne shall feed them, and shall lead them unto living fountains of waters, and the Most High shall wipe away all tears from their eyes. But you see, they were washed in the blood of the Lamb, and that's how they were white. Their robes were white. This is Revelation chapter 14, and that's the one. That's the 1/3, that the great multitude. But within that 1/3, you're gonna have the top echelon, the top governing body, which is the 144,000. Look what it says about them. Let's see what type of sacrifice they were making. It says, "And I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on the Mount Zion, and with him 144,000, having his father's name written in their foreheads." That was them being marked. They got marked for salvation, not marked for death, but they got marked in their foreheads for salvation, because that name, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, was written in their foreheads, and that name was brought to light. And they always, the 144,000 will always confess that name, because they know that there's power in that name. They know that that's the name of the Heavenly Father and His Son. They know that that's the only name that they have. They know that's the only power that there is Yahweh Yahweh Shai. And verse 2, "And I heard a voice from heaven, as the voice of many waters, and as the voice of a great thunder. And I heard the voice of harpers harping with their harps. And they sung, as it were, a new song." And that's this new song, this truth, waking up the 12 tribes, which are scattered abroad, and them coming back to themselves and remembering themselves and turning back to Heavenly Father. That's this new song that's being sung. That and the deliverance of the elect of Yasharallah out of Babylon the Great and all the countries in which they have been driven and scattered into. That's all a part of this new song. And they sung, as it were, a new song before the throne and before the four beasts and the elders. And no man could learn that song but the 144,000, which were redeemed from the earth. These are they which were not defiled with women, those are the philosophies, for they are virgins. They are white, they're pure. These are they which follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. And that means, the Lamb or Yahweh Shai is the word. So whatever the word says, whatever the word was, that's what they did. They followed the word. These were redeemed from among men, being the first fruits unto the Most High and to the Lamb. So they offered up the right sacrifice, because they were virgins and not defiled with the women, which are the other philosophies of the world. And verse 5, "And in their mouth was no guile, for they are without fault before the throne of the Most High." And how they were found without fault? Because they offered up the right sacrifice. You offer up the right sacrifice by being obedient unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. It's all in the word for what we need to do. So check yourself, brothers and sisters. Check yourself. Make sure you're offering up the right sacrifice. With that, Shalom.